Okay, so at this point in our video, or series of videos, I am going to talk about the assignments. But the purpose of this segment of the course overview is just to give you a very brief introduction to the assignments in this course. I tend to be a very detail-oriented instructor who strives to provide very clear instructions and expectations for students. That takes some time and can be overwhelming when just getting started with a class. So what I'm doing here is nowhere near the explanation you will get, but it's just a start so you understand where we're headed. So first, I feel strongly that assignments need to have a clear purpose and whenever possible should be something that directly impacts my students' success in teaching. Therefore, the major purposes of all the assignments in this course are to give you the opportunity to use tools and techniques that teachers actually use or should be using. Have you apply what you're learning to preparing content instruction, though I wish I could oversee you actually like teaching with what you create. This course doesn't really give me that gift, unfortunately. Another purpose that I have here for the assignments in this course, as I've already stated, reflection is an enormous catalyst for learning. So you'll do assignments and activities throughout the course that are focused on critical and in-depth reflection. In addition, many of your assignments will have a true audience, not just me. You'll be sharing your completed work with one another. Teachers, including me all the time, borrow a lot of our best ideas from one another, and we are all so much more effective because of this. Okay, so let me give a brief description of the assignments. There are 8 total assignments in the class, only 2 of which are not part of the unit that I've been talking about. Assignment 1 is a collection of 5 activities to be done while you're reading specific assigned texts. And these are things you would use with students as well. They'll help you understand your readings better, so they're going to be improving your own comprehension, and they'll help you learn ways to get your students engaged with their reading and comprehending their reading better. Assignment 2 requires that you read and analyze one research article about vocabulary instruction, and then teach it to your classmates. This makes it so each of you learns a lot more than you could learn on your own, and has the added bonus of preparing you for your literacy CST exam, those of you who are going for literacy specialist certification, and having the experience of teaching adults, which is something you'll be likely to do as a literacy specialist or coach. Okay, so finally we get to talk a bit about this themed unit that I've been kind of hinting at this whole time. My goal for you for this unit is that you make it something that you could really implement in a classroom. I have had a number of candidates use their units in their own teaching in their classrooms, and it's been really cool to see how students have responded and how excited the candidate gets when they actually use what they've created. The project is large. It has lots of parts to it, but they all connect, and each part helps you to more deeply understand the content you're learning in this course. I'm just going to walk through this briefly. We're going to get into the details, and I'll provide templates and models, detailed instructions, and rubrics for all the big parts. Some of the smaller parts will actually get started in our seated class sessions, and then you'll finish up later on your own. So first of all, you have lots of choices because, again, I want you to make this your own. I want it to be something that you're, enthusiastic about creating because you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. And I want this to be relevant to your lives as professionals. So you choose the grade level you want to do this with. You choose the discipline, meaning like science, social studies, etc. The theme, and the genre. Many of you have probably created kind of a mini unit in a past course. I know I've had quite a few of you in Reading 2, or you did complete Reading 2 at SUNY New Paltz, and you do create a themed unit within that class. And this is kind of a more It's kind of that unit multiplied by 10, I would say. Okay. So we start by having you determine the project that your students will create. We call that the authentic writing task. This is assignment 3. And we'll help you do that. Okay. This will all make sense as we go along. You have to be a little bit patient as things kind of roll out in the class. But that's what you start with, is figuring out what are your students going to create. Then you're going to plan to teach them how the genre of that project works. So for example, if you have them writing an informational article for the local newspaper, that would be an authentic writing task, then you would, then this assignment 4, which is called the genre instruction task, you have to teach them how informational text works, so they understand how that genre works so that they can create that article. Next, you'll put together a large collection of media, and it will include written texts, videos, audio, images, all this different media that your students will use to learn the content that they need for their project and your chosen discipline, like social studies or science, or it can be something else too, but those are the two that most often are used in this class. And that's assignment 5, called the Multimedia Annotated Text Set and Exhibit Hall Participation. Okay, I'll talk more about that when we get there. Then you're going to plan out how you're going to teach them to write in the genre of their project. And so basically it's just, this assignment 6 is called the Genre Specific Writing Unit Outline. And what I ask you to do is just make an outline that shows, and I give you a template and everything, that shows me how are you going to get the students from not ever having maybe produced this genre before to understanding how that they're going, sorry, you're going to be writing this outline that will help you bring your students through a series of steps that prepares them to actually write that article or whatever it is that you have them do. All right. So that's assignment 6. Next, you're going to plan one multi-day lesson that's focused on one reading comprehension strategy. This will probably feel a little like, for those of you that have done EdTPA, it'll feel a little bit like your learning segment. Not anything close to the depth that you did for EdTPA, but it basically, you're going to be applying what I teach you about how to teach reading comprehension effectively, and you're going to plan a lesson teaching one comprehension strategy, and you're going to have an online presentation of that lesson as well. Okay. And it usually ends up being, a multi-day lesson, anywhere from like 2 to maybe 3 or 4 parts to actually get to the point where you've taught your students the comprehension strategy effectively. And then finally, you'll gather up the smaller pieces that we've worked on throughout the semester, these little pieces that we'll do a little bit in class, and then you'll kind of finish up on your own. And one will be like a unit overview showing, how your unit's organized. Essential questions and key vocabulary that will be important for your unit. And you'll put this all together with the assignments above to share the whole unit with others, and you'll write a reflection about your unit creation. Okay? So this is really the majority of the coursework that you're going to be doing, is all focused on creating this unit. Notice that you really only have, you're not writing a ton of lesson plans, you really only have one in-depth lesson plan about this comprehension strategy. And then you're going to have like an outline that shows me like what kinds of lessons you're going to do to get them to be prepared to write in the genre of their project. So I hope that helps you understand kind of the assignments that you're seeing in the syllabus a little bit. And again, I'll give you a lot more detail and templates and things and models later on in the semester. Okay, we're going to pause here, and we'll, in the next segment, we'll be setting you up for success by looking at Blackboard and other technologies.